straight here. Obviously with a weak pair of sixes. Ever the optimist though, I've got a straight flush draw. And obviously we've got the button as well, so we've got possession for the whole hand. Happy to take it down pre-flop though. Pretty junk hand there. So a lot of players they definitely like, if they're in the small blind of the button, they like raising with any 4 cards. And yeah, it's profitable taking down the 75 cents here and there. But if somebody calls, you can get yourself in tricky spots. And you can end up losing more money than you really should be with a pretty weak hand. Especially for rush poker, there's no need to start mixing it up with junk. Again here, a pair of 9s is pretty useless. I'm going to call the 25 cents. And I'm pretty sure I don't even call this. Yeah, and we just folded. We nearly called there. I would basically be calling just to hit a 9, which is ever the optimist, but that's too optimistic, I think. And we see that Gardner's top left there. He's continuing on. He's doing quite well. It's nice of us to pay him off with the second nuts. Suited ace jack here. We've got 3 to a wheel, which isn't great. Ace jack together is not too great. We have a little blind steal here. Scary saver coming up. We flop second pair. We just check for a bit of pot control. You don't want to lead out and get called and you've no idea where you are. We pick up an open-ended straight draw as well. We take it down. As I say, if you lead out on that flop and you get a call, you've no idea if the guy's got a king, if he's got a straight draw, if he's got a flush draw. So just control the size of the pot, and then if the turn's a blank card, you can stick your little bet and see what he does. Should I think about raising here? Well, I do raise him actually, yeah. I really do. When he raises up, I really don't think he's connected with that flop at all. I'm pretty sure he just folds. There's a chance that my queen's good here. Well, I'm pretty sure my queen was good. But when he raises up, I really don't think that it's such a low flop. I don't think he's connected with it. Even if my queen's not good, if he's got pair of kings, pair of aces, or he's got a low 2 pair, then I can steal it away if he doesn't want to play a big pot out of position. Definitely, you really don't want to just flat call the last hand with the queens. I think the worst play, if you fold, then fair enough. But I think if you want to continue on with the hand, it's best just to stick a little raise in there. If he then calls, you can hopefully just check it down, and your queens have got showdown value. But if you just flat call and then he fires out on the turn again, you've no idea where you are. He could be betting with another bluff, he could be betting with the nuts. As I say, it's best to find out on the flop. I might pay the 25 cents here. I'm not paying $2.25, I don't think. Quite a nice hand here. It's one of the stronger pair of queens that you've got. We've got 3 to Broadway with king queen suited. So quite a nice starting hand. We've still got the overpair, we're basically just playing a pair of queens. There's no real redraws at the minute. So again, check for a bit of pot control. Don't like the turn card too much. Decide to more of a little information gathering bit. We get a call, and it's horrible river card for us. We're not beating anything really. So he called us in the turn. So we're just going to check, and he played his hand really well. He had the nuts, and I'm sure we give a little note on that guy later on. He had the best hand the whole way. We were in pretty bad shape. No, we'll see him at the next table. So we just give him a little note. I don't know if you can read that. Likes to slow play out of position with the nuts in Omaha. Just so that if we see him again, I probably should have given him a blue tag instead of a purple tag actually. It's probably not fair on the guy. He played his hand pretty well. Obviously if we bet the flop, he's definitely at least going to be calling us, if not raising us. And if he raises us on the flop, again we've really no idea if our queens are good or not. But we waited until the turn, had a little semi-value, semi-information gathering bet, and we decided to slow play us. And we could have had a stab on the river, but obviously when you see his hand he's not going anywhere. So we saved some money in that hand. I had 3 to a Broadway with this, with the ace-4 for a straight. We pick up an open-ended straight draw, which is not great. And we just let him take it away from us. And we could have bet the turn there, but again, we've only really got the open-ended straight draw, and with the flush draw there, even if your straight comes in and it's one of the flush cards, you're in pretty bad shape, could be. 3 to Broadway here, 10-7 suited for my straight flush draw. I'm going to hit one eventually. If I play enough straight flush draws, one of them is bound to come in. It's 40% of the straight flush. Maybe the optimist. Well, I should have thought about re-raising it. For some reason I just really never thought that guy had anything. But instead of re-raising, we don't call, we just fold before the craziness takes over. It's so tempting in Omaha just to lose the plot and just start raising. You really need to keep a bit of discipline about it. I used to be a lot worse than I am now, for sure. Once you've stacked off 3 or 4 or 5, 6 buy-ins in the space of 10-15 hands, the good old days. Look at that, 5, 7, 9 can play together. I've got the 7, 9, 10 can play together. He showed a bit, he's limped in here, and we're basically just raising up because we've got the button. Just build the pot so that if the flop comes down nicely, there's enough in the pot to play for quite a lot of money. And it's nice to flop the second nuts. Obviously pocket tens has got us beat at the minute. Pretty unlikely somebody's got pocket tens. Now we just fire it. You're hoping somebody else has got a 5 in their hand. If one of the other guys has got a 5, you really shouldn't be able to put me on a pair of 5s. So chances are I can get my money in the flop. I was quite a big favourite. But obviously when they quick fold, you obviously didn't have much to play back with. I'm pretty sure I fold that, yeah. I could have seen a flop for $1 there, but not the greatest of hands. Wow, that was maybe a mistake. Auto folded a weak, it was a weak pair of kings, but I should have definitely probably limped in with that. Just looking to see a cheap flop. It's the temptation of the mouse hovering over the quick fold button. Three to Broadway here. The 4's a bit out of place. I suppose you've got the ace-4 for a wheel. Surprised that you can call the flop there. I must have been chatting away to my flatmate at this time. We were playing the mini F-tops, so I must have been chatting away, not really paying attention to this. I have a lot of blind steal, a pretty weak pair of queens here, but I'm just happy to take it down pre-flop. We got a cash in mini F-tops event 1, and the Rush Poker F-tops is a bit sick. It's got cooler after cooler. It's nice to lose with ace king against ace queen 2 or 3 times in the space of 10-15 hands. You can't win them all, as they say. Pretty garbage hands here. I've got my straight flush draw though. with my 3-5, and we get the free flop. There's not really anything going on there. Bottom pair, and just let the guy have it. Suited ace on the button. I could have raised it up. There's arguments for both, but I think at this time we're just playing a very passive. Well, as I say that, I raise it up with King Jack 9-6. I must see my straight flush draw again. I think it's more just the fact I had the button. Yeah, definitely you can afford to be a little more aggressive on the button than the other positions. Got quite a nice Omaha hand here. 4 to Broadway with the ace jack suited. Don't mind getting a call here. Breakers was obviously thinking about something, but just decides to fold. Another pretty mediocre hand. Again, pretty junk. We don't bother defending with that. You just get yourself in trouble. Pretty weak pair of tens here. Maybe we would call the 25 cents just to spike a 10. And again here, pretty weak pair of kings. See, the guy's deep enough. I can afford to call the $1.50. It's different than the other pair of kings that I folded earlier on. The guy didn't have enough money behind to make it profitable. But obviously if I flop a king here, there's potential that I can win $106, $109 pot. It was interesting. I'm sure I'll raise here, which is an interesting way. I'll wait till the ace comes and then I raise, and then he calls, which I obviously can't be too happy about. So I've got to. I can't really check behind. If I want to win the pot, I've really got to bet and hope he folds. And I'm pretty sure he folds. Was that an interesting way to play, shall we say? I suppose my thinking was the 6-9 jack, there's a lot of straights on that flop, so you maybe min bets the turn with his straight draw. He calls the raise obviously with a straight draw, but when it bricks on the river, even if he's got a weak pair of aces, I can get the weak pair of aces to fold. That was an interesting way to play my hand, shall we say. Probably not the optimal way, but it seemed to work. I've got one of my favourite Omaha starting hands here. I've got the 4 to a straight double suited. And even though it's gone raise, re-raise, it's still worth seeing the flop here. We get a monster flop. We flop the nuts with the nut redraw. Obviously if the 10 of spades comes in, we've got the straight flush. And you know how I like the straight flush. So we check, looking for this guy at continuation bot, and we can get all our whole stack in here. And the sick thing is, the guy actually calls. You see his hand, he's got the 10 high flush draw with a pair of 10s and a gut shot. And brick, and we scoop the pot there. It was a beautiful flop for us, really. Apart from flopping the straight flush, it's the nicest flop. We had full outs out as well actually, we had 2 pairs with jacks and 8s. So any jack gives us a full house, jacks of 8s, any 8 gives us a full house, any spade gives us a flush, but obviously he would have had a better flush, not to know that when the money went in, and apart from that we had the nuts on the flop. So quite a nice little pot there. That's why these 4 to a straight cards, they play so well, because there's so many flops can come down. You either flop the nuts or you've got huge re-draws to the nuts. So even though it's been raise, re-raise, it's still worth seeing the flop there. I would much rather play one of those hands, the 8, 9, 10 jack, 8, 9 jack queen. I would much rather play one of them than a pair of aces, because with the pair of aces, as in hold'em, chances are you either win a small pot or you lose a big pot. But with the 4 to a straight, if you miss the flop, you pretty much miss the flop. But if you hit the flop, you really do. You can win some pretty big pots. So how much did it? I think we were in for. We start with